So today we are going to talk about estimating using fractions. And there's just one rule of thumb that we need to go by here. If your fraction is greater than 1/2, we're going to round up. If your fraction is less than 1/2, we're going to round down. And if your fraction is exactly 1/2, you need to use your discrepancy to decide which to do, round up or down. So I'm going to go through some practice problems with you so you can get the hang of it. The first one, 6 3/4. 3/4 is greater than 1/2, so I'm going to round up to 7 here. Multiplied by 9 2/3. Again, 2/3 is greater than 1/2, so I'm going to round up. And my answer is going to be approximately 70. Now you'll notice I'm doing this little curvy line here, and I'm doing this because it's an estimate. We use the equal sign when we calculate something, and because we're just doing an estimate here, that's why we're using our approximation symbol. So number 2 on your sheet, 11 1/2 divided by 4 1/6. Now this is 1/2 here. I'm actually going to round this up because as I look over here, I'm going to round this number down, and I want to try to get my estimate as close as possible. So 11 1/2 is going to round up to 12, and I'm going to divide by 4 because I'm going to round the 1/6 down. 12 divided by 4 is our answer is going to be approximately 3. 9 5/6. 5/6 is greater than 1/2, so I'm going to round that up to 10. I don't know what that dash is that's already there. I'll change it into a plus sign. 2 5/8. I'm going to round that up to 3. And plus 4 2/7. 2/7 is less than 1/2, so I'm going to round that down. 10 plus 3 is 13, plus another 4. My answer is approximately going to be 17. Moving on to number 4. 5/6. 10 5/6 here. This 5/6 is much greater than 1/2, so I'm going to round up to 11. And I'm going to subtract 4 1/9. 1/9 is less than 1/2, so I'm going to round that down to 4. My answer is going to be approximately 7. Now I encourage you right now to pause the video and try 5 6 and 7 on your own. Okay, so for number 5, 25.7, we're going to round this up to 26. Erased on me. 0.7 is greater than 0.5. I don't know why that's like the magic erasing here. Hurry up before it erases more. 32.4. 0.4 is less than half, so I'm going to round that down to 32. And 0.49, a very hair less than 1/2, I'm going to round this down to 5. 26 plus 32 is 58. Take 5 away. We're going to be left, our answer is going to be approximately 53. Number 6, 80.32. That rounds down to 80, and I'm going to divide by 4.53, rounds up to 5. When I divide this out, 80 divided by 5, I'm going to get my answer is going to be approximately 16. And last but not least, number 7, 11.14 is rounding down to 11, and I'm going to multiply that by 8.71. 0.71 is greater than 1/2, or when we're talking about decimals, 0.5. 0.50. So I'm going to round that up to 9. 11 times 9, my answer is going to be approximately 99. Now I'm just going to go through a couple word problems with you where we're going to use our estimation skills. The grocery store is actually a really good place to know how to estimate, so you kind of have an idea of how much your bill is going to be, and when people give you change, that they gave you about the right change. So Melissa purchased $39.46 in groceries at a store. The cashier gave her $1.54 in change from a $50 bill. Melissa gave the cashier an angry look. What did the cashier do wrong? Well, let's just look at this estimation-wide. So her bill came to $39.46. We can say that this is approximately $39. If she gave her 50, we need to subtract about $39. We should be left with here, sorry, I started to do an equal sign. She should get approximately $11 back. So it looks like we shorted her and only gave her 1. Okay, number 9, school lunches cost $14.50 per week. About how much would 15.5 weeks of lunch cost? Well, first we would need to take our $14.50 and multiply it by the number of weeks, 15.5. If we look at this here, 0.5 and 1/2, they're both 1/2, meaning they could go either way. It's the same exact amount to round up and round down. So because they both have 1/2, what I'm going to do in this problem is I'm going to round 1 up and 1 down, hoping that they're going to even each other out a bit, and my estimation is going to be closer. 14.50, I'm going to round that up to 15, and I'm going to round 15.5 down to 15. 15 times 15 means our approximate answer for the cost in school lunches is going to be $225. Number 10. Sarah buys 9 3/4 yards of fabric. If 3 3/4 yards are needed for a skirt and 2 1/8 yards are needed for a vest, how much fabric does she have left? I sew and I always use estimation to estimate yardage. So 9 3/4, 3/4 is bigger than 1/2, so I'm going to round this up to 10 yards of fabric. Okay, so she has 10 yards. Then she's going to use 3 3/4 for a skirt. 3 3/4 is going to be rounded up to 4. So I'm going to take the about 4 that she used for the skirt away, and I'm going to be left with 6 yards. Then she's going to use 2 1/8 yard for a vest. 2 1/8, 1/8 is less than 1/2, so I'm going to round this down to 2. I'm going to take my 6 yards and I'm going to subtract the about 2 yards that she needs for the vest. I'm going to be left with 4 yards of fabric. And again, I should have used let me fix that. I should have used an approximation tool here. And there you have it.